Tonight's tutorial is going to be ARK 101, Stone Building, Carnivore Tames, Advanced Building, and Rafts. Just waiting for my one person to show up here and we'll get started. Testing, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something in the chat room. I want to make sure we're not having any technical difficulties. Awesome. Well, let me know when you're ready and I'll go ahead and get started. All right, good. So you refreshed it, but you are getting live video and live sound, right? Awesome. All right, so there's a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. But today we're going to be covering stone building, carnivore tames, and advanced building and advanced rafts. I went ahead and named this Parasaur Sela for, the character from Star Trek. I did get my INI file to finally work, so unlike default, I have extreme weight and health now to make this tutorial process a little bit easier. Everything's pretty much still the same. Nothing's changed. One thing that has changed is I took the basic raft that we had to get to Herbivore Island yesterday and built on it to make a transport raft. Now, this is about the limit of structures that you can place on a default raft that you get with the default game without mods. I built it out of all default structures, so there's nothing modded here. This is all default. It's entirely possible to do this, and I'll show you how to do it later. But for now, what I want to do is I want to take everything out of this house and put it in the raft, because we're not going to be living here. We're going to be moving somewhere that has more resources and is more defendable from wild predators, because we don't want to be living on a major game trail, because as we already saw yesterday, T-Rexes come through here and eat quite frequently. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up these structures. This is something that you cannot do with vanilla structures, so that's one benefit to using mods like Structures Plus and Bulk Crafters. You can pick up what you put down. Less waste that way. I'm going to leave the beds, but I'm going to call it something different. That way, in case we ever want to fast travel back to this structure, we can. It has all the basics we need to survive. Campfire, storage, and beds. We're going to get on to Sela here. Yes, there is. There's quite a developed one, and I'll put the link up in the chat room really quickly. 1 second. There you go. That's the ARK Survival Evolved Wiki. Quite beneficial and useful. We're going to load Sela up here on the raft. Want to position her so she's not clipping through it. Makes her less of a target for any kind of nasty animals or creatures. Now, one thing to bear in mind with these vanilla rafts, you have a structure limit, and you can only put so many things on the raft itself. Things in your inventory or things that you can put in a box don't count toward structure limit. You can override that if you use mods. And if you override it, then you can make some really hellaciously large ships. I'm particularly fond of building huge ocean liners and destroyers, that kind of thing. Also, with the default rafts, you have a very limited camera view, so be careful how high you build up, otherwise you could end up blinding yourself. The thing that I like about advanced rafts is it gives you the option to change your camera point of view. So, this is what the raft looks like. From 6 times away. I'll change it again to show 3 times the normal view, which is fine for this particular build. This raft looks complicated, but I promise it's the simplest thing ever. The first thing we're going to do is go back over to Herbivore Island, now that we have the ability to store more things and hold more objects and materials, and get some metal, stone, wood, thatch, and fiber, so we can find a more permanent home and get away from this particular danger zone. Make sure the raft is set for full speed, because I do not want to get eaten by a lead ichthyes. Something killed that dolphin there. Herbivore Island is also really good because it has a nice bay that you can build out into for parking your rafts or running water pipes, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, on most official and unofficial servers, Herbivore Island is often a go-to spot for advanced and alpha tribes to set up shop, and you'll be lucky if you can ever get anywhere close to there. One noob mistake to make is building on beaches. Don't do it unless you're on single player, because that makes you a prime target for anyone who wants to come along and take what you have or raid you. You want to build your base somewhere secluded and safe with decent access to resources. Now, you made it without getting eaten by anything, so that said, let's go out and get some resources then. This could be a little bit of a tight spot, but it'll be alright. So backing up a big truck, you gotta find the right spot, right way to get out. Alright, I'll be using her as pretty much a truck. Anything I get, I'm gonna throw onto her back, because she has massive weight that she can handle. Plus, it helps keep things organized. I could use her to gather, but I don't want to get too many berries. We can't live in a raft. We have to have supplies for wherever we're going. Wherever we decide to end up may not have all the resources we need, so get what you can while you're here. Remember, using a hatchet on stone gets you more stone. Grab some flint, because flint can make arrowheads and spark powder. Did you see that? We got 1 metal. 2 metal. Got 5 metal out of that so far. Getting metal with stone is incredibly hard, so your first set of metal tools will be very hard fought for. Let's go ahead and pick up some berries. Let's see what our haul was. Not too bad, that'll do. Let's go ahead and get thatch next. Not like that. A lightning bolt is a representation of your stamina. The more activity you do, like gathering, running, fighting, that drains your stamina. Once you're out of stamina, you get tired. If you get tired, the simple solution is to drink a stimulant or to, stop moving, and your stamina goes back up. If you keep moving after that bar is drained and you keep going past the tired icon, which will pop up and say, hey, you're tired, stop moving, then you'll get an injury. You'll break a leg, you'll get too tired, and then you'll eventually die of exhaustion or being eaten by something that finds you when you're injured. That's critical when you're around hyenas. Hyenas will not attack you unless they think they have the advantage. Specifically, if you're injured around hyenas, they will attack you. Otherwise, they're pretty skittish. Right. We're going to try to find somewhere to live. Just a real quick recap so we can get right into it. Gather your basic materials. Your basic materials are wood, thatch, fiber, flint, stone. You can get stone by hitting any rock with a hatchet or picking the rocks up off the beach. You can get wood by punching a tree, though that will injure you. You can use a hatchet on a tree. A hatchet gets you more wood, but it also gathers a small amount of thatch. If you need thatch, use a pick on a tree, and you'll get thatch and some wood. If you need flint, use a pick on a rock, and you'll get flint. And some small amount of stone, and sometimes metal. So, on an animal carcass, or anything that you kill, use an axe to get more meat with less hide, or a pick to get more hide and less meat. Or more, chitin, and that kind of thing. Because some animals have like an exoskeleton. And the better quality your tools, the more that you gather. So metal gets more than stone, kind of thing. I know where I'm going to stop. There's an explorer note right up here in these old ruins. The more you explore the island, the more that you'll find ruins and caves and dungeons. And you'll find explorer notes left from people who've been on the island before. And there's a particular explorer note that's right up here in these Stonehenge-like rocks. Now, while this lake here is usually pretty peaceful, sometimes there can be sarcosuchuses and caprosuchuses in here, as well as piranha. If you're not familiar with your paleontology, caprosuchus and sarcosuchus are both giant crocodiles. Sarcosuchus is known as the supercroc, and caprosuchus will launch itself out of the water at you. And so, keep an eye out. Never assume that you're safe. Right here should be just about good enough. Now I'm going to leave the parasaur in here while I go and explore these ruins. I don't need her. See, once you get submerged in water, if you look above the experience bar, the little arrow, you'll see an O2 meter. That's obviously your oxygen your oxygen meter. And the more it goes down, the less time you had to spend underwater. You can put points into that right there, the oxygen. Don't put too many because you really won't be needing to spend that much time underwater. But keep an eye out for places like this when you're out exploring. These are ancient ruins. The explorer boxes should be somewhere right here. You walk up to them and they do this. All right, this is an explorer note. It's by Helena. She's the 20th century biologist who was taken from Australia and transported to the ARK. She spent years on the ARK studying the ARK's animals and species and making notes about them. Each one of these explorer notes is a dino dossier, which reveals, well, Helena's are anyway. Hers will tell you about each individual species on the island, what it's useful for, what its traits are, how to tame it, that kind of thing. For example, this is the saber-toothed salmon. Its scientific name is Oncornicus grexlamia, and it's from the late Miocene to Miocene periods. It's a carnivore. It's got an evasive temperament, but it's aggressive when you attack it, and they can kill you. In the wild, they're fairly unremarkable by the island standards. It's a generally passive fish. Its main form of protection is swimming in a large school. It does not like conflict and generally swims away from anything larger than itself at very high speeds. Once provoked, however, it becomes quite aggressive along with its nearby brethren. It locks onto its prey with its long saber teeth and begins draining that creature's blood. This loss of blood is not too dangerous alone, but when a school attack at once, their target quickly loses speed and stamina from blood loss, drowning if it cannot breathe underwater. Once domesticated, like many of the smaller fish found on or around the island, it cannot be tamed, but it is often herded and harvested for its resources. In particular, certain cuts of the fish meat are considered to have superb quality and are often referred to as prime fish, used for specific high-end concoctions and training the island's many piscivorous creatures. So while you can't tame this thing, you can hunt them and take their meat and use their meat to tame high-tier animals. Once you close it out, you go to your inventory, you can go over here to this Explorer Notes. You'll see Helena Walker, Edmund Rockwell, Gaius Nerva. These are all the people who have been on the Ark. As you unlock them, you'll see more, or as you encounter different animals. Salmon dossier, you can go back and look at them. The one that we unlocked last time, before the salmon, was the Oviraptor. Right there. We've seen it, and here it is. Oviraptor. Species name is Oviraptor phyllitator. It's from the late Cretaceous. It's a carnivore. It's got a skittish temperament. In the wild, Oviraptor is a small to medium-sized carnivore common in the jungles and beaches of the island. Despite being a carnivore, Oviraptor's main source of food is eggs, which it steals from nests. Unlike any other creature, Oviraptor seems to be able to surreptitiously steal these eggs, usually without attracting the attention of the irate mother. In an incredible feat of natural selection, Oviraptor seems to emit a chemical pheromone that affects many creatures as an aphrodisiac. Mated creatures are much more likely to procreate new eggs while Oviraptor is around, which also allows the Oviraptor to go about its business unperturbed. It's too small to fight or ride, but Oviraptor is still one of the more commonly tamed creatures on the island. Its pheromone ensures an increased stream of eggs from nearby mated wild creatures for breeding, eating, or cooking kibbles. Oviraptor will autonomously do the dirty work of stealing eggs from other tribes or wild dinosaurs on your behalf, without attracting unwanted attention. They also make quite adorable sounds, so many children simply like to keep them around as rather strange companions. So they can be tamed, and their main use is to make animals breed more and have more eggs. More eggs means more babies, or more kibble, or more food for you. Quite handy things to have. The other type of explorer note is this kind, from, Edmund Rockwell and Gaius Nerva. Edmund Rockwell was the chemist. His notes contain recipes and things to make you stronger, buffs, medicines, cures. These notes are from Gaius Nerva. They're in Latin. He was a Roman centurion who was transported with his entire legion onto the Ark. There are translations for these available on the Ark wiki, by the way. If you notice also here in the corner, your experience bar is flashing. After you find an explorer note, you have an experience buff, which lasts for a little while. It lasts for 280 some seconds, which is what that little countdown clock is that you see in the lower right-hand corner. You get more XP. So definitely find all the explorer notes you can. Spend time exploring. It's worth it. We're going to go back and we're going to find somewhere to live. This is not going to be it. As you can see, it's gotten foggy. Fog is one of the conditions on ARK that's really aggravating. It can limit your visibility. It can happen day or night, usually after a short rainstorm. Now we could go to the left, but believe me when I say there are things down there that we are not ready to handle. Spinosauruses, that kind of thing. Don't go down there. Not yet. If you can see the red obelisk up there in the distance, that's kind of where we're heading. We don't want to go too far up that way because then we'll encounter the northern snow plains. And you'll start to freeze to death, which is fine because I've learned the recipes for fur armor, but hunting it could be a little dangerous. You'll freeze to death before you get back to base. But I'm aiming for the jungles areas. It's just to its right. I'm surprised we haven't had any issues with the Leviathes yet. They're normally right on your butt the minute that you hit the ocean in a ship. This could be a good spot. Something a little different. I don't think I've ever built a house here, though I know that several people have on PvP. Let's go up here and check it out. Alright, when we are looking at things, we can see that we have resources. We have tons of rock, tons of stone, tons of, wood, thatch, and fiber. What other things do we have? Lots of fish. I can see a mega piranha, some coelacanths. So the waters around here could be a little bit dangerous. The mega piranha. The swamplands are straight ahead. If we follow the river up, we would end up in the swamps, which will, not be a safe place. It's full of spiders, bugs, leeches, giant snakes. But this seems to be a rather gentle place to make a home so far. Let's get out and explore it a little bit before we bring out our mount. Always scout the area before you bring out your mounts, because that could be the last thing you ever do. It would suck to spend all that time taming a nice creature only to find out it's going to get killed by you being careless. So don't be careless. They do plan on improving them a lot more. These are actually pretty close to finished, but they've got an optimization pass coming before August when the game is officially released. So for now, this is pretty close to done, but yeah, it's gorgeous. It really, really, truly is pretty. It's a breathtaking game. I want to build up there on that plateau. Let's go scout it. Make sure there's nothing nasty up there. Okay. It's a little curvy, but nothing that can't be overcome. It's got a good view of the land. It's not too far from the river, so running pipes wouldn't be that big of a deal. Let's see, what do we have over here? No large carnivores. Relatively flat area. There's space to make a couple of pens and a greenhouse. So this seems to be a good spot. Let's go down and get the tame and come back up here and we'll see what's what. How you feeling over there?
It's still kind of weird in the head.
Have you ate today?
I think a sandwich.
Maybe you should eat something.
Maybe.
I named this parasaur Sela. So I get the feeling she's treacherous. Always close your doors behind you. Especially true on PvP servers. Or PvE for that matter, because people are finding glitches and workarounds on PvE to be jerks. Let me get some berries while I'm going up here, make sure that she has food. Can't go up that far. It's too far for her. Too steep. We'll go this way. And here we are. On the way home. Now, here's the thing. Since you already know how to gather stone and all the other materials, yeah, the atmosphere and the area are generally the same. Yeah, there's no change in the actual, area. It's all the same. It's all the same. I'm going to go ahead and get this area cleared out so we can build. So this time we're going to be building in stone, and this time we're not going to build a simple stone box. It's getting dark, so I'm going to do something I don't normally like to do, but for the sake of the tutorial, we will. Change it to daylight. Now that red message up there says I'm hot. Check your temperature, it's 79 degrees Fahrenheit. So to help that, I'm going to take off the shirt and the gloves. While that lessens my protection, it also gives me some relief from the heat. Got to keep an eye out and make sure there's nothing sneaking up on me. This takes a while, unfortunately, to clear a place. Okay, now do you see these little piles of stone on the ground, like this right here? These piles of stone will actually give you more stone or more flint than the big standing rocks will. Don't know why, but they do. Heard the Ragnarok thing over there.
Oh, yeah.
That should be enough. I'm going to go out and clear some of these bigger plants out. I don't want them sticking up to the floor. All right, that should be enough. Now, as for learning how to make stone tools, or like stone walls and doors, that kind of thing, it's the same thing as thatch and the same thing as wood. As you level up, go through down, and it actually just learn the engram for stone walls, stone foundations. You're right down here, so you should learn stone right down level 24. First thing you should learn is the stone foundation. So learn that first. Then the wall, then it's like thatch and wood, learn out from there. Since you already know how to gather all the materials, I'm just going to go ahead and spawn what I need and get building. Alright, now that said, we should have plenty of materials. Now I'm going to be using Structures Plus, and since you'll be playing on a Mac, you'll be able to get the same mods, so there's no reason to not use it. It's a better mod for better building stuff anyway. And you'll see that Structures Plus has a bit of a different look to it. It looks better, I think, than default structures.
I haven't played since they did that whole change of ramp.
You really should, because it really helps things be a little more realistic. Right now, I'm just getting the basic parts that I'll need. Okay, these are the basic parts. Now for advanced building, one thing that a lot of new people will do, mostly because they don't know any better, and mostly because they really don't know how to build worth a damn, is they'll build boxes. Just rectangular boxes, simple, really kindergarten-like houses. Don't do that. Be creative in how you build your houses. We're going to use this flat land here to build with. First, I'm going to start off with stone foundations. I'm going to lay out a grid like this. This particular part is going to be 4 foundations wide. And 4 long. Essentially a perfect cube. But I just said, don't make a perfect square house. You'll see what I mean. All right. Set a pillar down like that, and make another one to fill out the bottom, like that. Another one on top of it, and then repeat that on all 4 corners. In some cases where the land is more raised, you won't need to use as many pillars. Also put a pillar here in the middle. That. Okay. Now what I want you to do is throw down some wooden walls. Like that. Now conversely, you can also use stone walls. But we're going to use wooden for this purpose. Now what I would like to do, let's see, give me just a moment here. I'm trying to remember what I was doing. I had a brain fart there for a moment. There we go. We need windows. Put some windows here. We have that. We're going to go ahead and use our double stone door frame. And we're going to put a window on top of that. So advanced house building. We're getting there. So you can see it's coming together pretty well. Structures Plus does let you stack foundations, so use that to your advantage. You'll see what I'm going to do there here in just a moment. You see how the grass is coming up through the floor? Unfortunately, there's no way to prevent that. Yeah, the fireball symbol means that I'm hot. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about this yet. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is bring down some more pillars. Using mixed materials like this can make a house look a whole lot better. So, if we can't get rid of the grass, what are we going to do with it? Simple. We'll incorporate it into the build. But how? Simple. Okay, check that out. Now what you're going to need to do is make some railings. Or in this case, fence foundations. Fence foundations allow you to put fences, walls, and doors on the natural terrain. Quite handy. And usually you probably want to come in a little close to see those. You can see it lines up perfectly. The arrow that you see here will tell you which direction your piece is currently facing. Right there, it's going straight across, and that's where I want it to be. Perfect. Now that you have your fence foundations down, you can make some railings, which you can find under the stone or wood tier. And they stack on top of each other, like that. And what do you know? Now you have a stable or pen area for your animals. Dire wolves, anything can really fit in here. Later, we'll come back and we'll add an external entrance to this. But don't waste anything. The next part is going to be making a way upstairs, which we get by going into here. Now you can't do that with your default structures, but you can with Structures Plus. As you can see, it makes things look a lot better. Like that. Structures Plus also does a really neat thing with railings. It will align them like a stair banister. And one thing I did wrong here is I used the wrong sloped wall. We need to use sloped wall left. We're going to make that look better. Now it matches the one below it. Now as we're going up, when you come back out here, and begin finishing this wall. And see, it switched over. Now I'm cold. It's kind of annoying, but then again, it is getting later in the afternoon. The temperature's fallen. Take some wood. Let's make a little porch. Like so. Put railings around it. That. There's a small porch now. Go ahead and throw down 2 pillars here. There's a way to change the colors. Yes, there are paints, and I'm going to do that as soon as we get the house finished. Textures, not really. You can download a mod for that, but there's not many mods that do that kind of thing. But for colors, yes, you absolutely can change that. And the color is actually going to be changed to make it look a lot better than it normally would. Sounds squishy over there.
Sorry, too loud.
No, I'm just being observant. It sounds squishy. Now we want to go ahead and put some more pillars down, because pillars make things so much better. Oops, so, and that's okay. You fall off. There it goes. Sometimes you get issues like that where it doesn't quite want to match up. That's okay. I'm going to fly up here. Again, not something that you can normally do, but it helps to speed things along. All right then. Sometimes that will also happen. A piece of the lumber or a piece of the wall will be out of alignment with the others. Always try to make sure things are lined up. Otherwise it could end messily. Now, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this log so that I have a way to get back in. I don't normally have to do this because I could, cheat, but I won't do that this time. Need to zoom in here. The idea is to get one of these slopes to actually catch. There we go. Perfect. That's all it took. Now we're talking. Again, that happens a lot sometimes. It's kind of annoying. But just flip it until you get it right. Sometimes you'll find it's not the one that you thought was wrong. It's a different one. Okay. Mixed materials are really your friend. Except in this case where it doesn't want to line up properly. Oh well, that happens sometimes. Can't be avoided. Alright, so now we have a much bigger property now than we had last time. Plenty of space. Now comes the part about being creative. I'm assuming that you saw that pop up about needing foundation support. ceiling can be placed out 2 spaces from any given foundation in any needed direction. That will do. There we go. This is unfortunately the slow part. Change the orientation of a specific piece, you probably need to change the way that you're facing. Sometimes it does that with gaps in the wall. They're really annoying. But you may find, like I said before, it's a specific piece that is not the one that you think it is. This one, the window is not sitting right. See, it's hanging off the edge. It's kind of uneven there. And sometimes it just can't be helped. Though I'm going to try. It's not going to get fixed. That's fine. this part, this is the part that's going to be a little difficult because I want to do it a certain way. If you have mods, well, this would be a good time to show you. If you have mods and you want to get to the mod quickly without having to spend points on it, or if you want to just spawn the mod, once you're in game, hold Shift and Tab. That'll bring up the Steam interface if you got it through Steam. Go to the upper right hand corner where it says Workshop. You'll pull up this window. Go to Your Files, Subscribed Items, and go through the pages until you find the mod that you want. In this case, I'm looking for Structures Plus. Go to Structures Plus. You can go to Discussions, or sometimes they'll have them on the front page. Spawn codes. This is what I do because this is easier. Right-click, copy link address. Go to Chrome or another window outside and put it there. It's faster. I'm going to say continue to external site. That's fine. Go there. And then there are your spawn codes for your mod. In this case, this particular spawn that I wanted was glass walls from Structures Plus. I wanted glass walls from Structures Plus because they're actually metal tier structures. So they have the look of glass, the transparency of glass, but the strength of metal. Another good reason why I say get Structures Plus. You will love that mod. Because normal glass in this game is incredibly fragile. One stray shot from your bow and arrow and it's history. Another great thing about the Structures Plus mods, most of them you can change the model. Walk up to it, press and hold the E key, change model, like that. And they have different versions that you can cycle through. In this case, I want to use a combination of models to achieve the look that I want. Like that. You can also change their transparency. Go into change transparency. You can make it two-way. You can make it opaque. You can update it like that. And the transparency is changed. You can repeat that across any of them. Now, when you're playing on PvP and you have access to this mod, the best thing to do is make it, one way where you can see out, but they can't see in. Quite effective for keeping your base secure. That way, they don't know if you're there or not, but you can see them from inside your base and plan an attack accordingly, or a defense for that matter. And it's starting to rain. That's always nice. There we go. Put a ceiling on this thing. Not too shabby. Now we just need to repeat the ceiling like 30 times in order to have it fully sealed off. And we don't have enough stuff, so let me see where I need to spawn in, which is going to be stone 9 times out of 10. There we go. Much better. Let's try 30 and go from there. As you can see, building all this stuff gets you tons of XP. While crafting, you tend to move a little slower, so don't craft on the run unless you don't have any other choice. Oh, we have a mistake. Yep, something's not even, and you can tell it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. We'll fix that. Just pick it up. A lot of things are not even. It's most likely a cause of these stone structures not wanting to line up. Yep, so I'm going to go up top. Now, if you're on single player and this happens, you can use a grappling hook, or you can have someone like bring you up here. Or you can use a technique called scaffolding, which can help sometimes to get you up on higher zones. That's where you build a temporary structure around something to make it fit. Yep, that fixed it. The game does have its quirks. I will say that. It does have its quirks. See? Fits. Wouldn't fit from below, but it'll fit up here. No idea why. It's just the name of the game, so to speak. And there we go. What else I want to do? I'm going to come down here. And add some railings around the edge of this roof. See that little animal running around down there? That little tiny one? You can probably barely make him out. That's a Trudon. And in the daytime, they're pretty skittish. At nighttime, they become holy terrors. Their bite is poisonous. Armor will not protect you from it. One bite, and you're going down. You'll be unconscious before you can say what's your uncle's name. You know, you'd be like out of it. Turns out we don't need these pillars. And that's okay. There we go. All right, now comes the other fun part, making the roof. Try to keep your stuff matching. So since we made a wooden roof, we'll use wooden ceilings to fill in the gap. And again, sometimes they'll do that where it's kind of floating above something. It's kind of annoying, but that's the nature of this game. If it annoys you too much, you can try to pick it up and fix it. Sometimes it'll fix, and sometimes it won't. Other times you just have to deal with it. So for now, we'll wrap this up. At least in terms of this part of the house. All right, sounds fine. I'll go ahead and keep building, and then it should be posted sometime tomorrow in terms of having the finished video up. If you want to check it out then. Now this one here in particular is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be a taller roof where we have a bigger surface area to work with, which can sometimes be tricky. make a peaked roof like this, you have to keep building up. It's a trick I actually learned while playing Minecraft, believe it or not. As you can see, it's going to make a perfect peaked roof. Yeah, basically, once you understand the very basics, it's all just a variation on that same theme. As far as building goes, that just takes time, practice, and experimentation and learning what the limits of the build engine actually are. Sometimes you can be creative in terms of using certain structures for something else other than what it was intended for. But once you figure it out, it's extremely simple. I'll go ahead and I'll get this video finished for you, and then tomorrow it should be available to watch in better quality, and that way you can kind of pick up the carnivore taming that we want to do. There we go. We just leap off. And over here is where it's going to get a little tricky. Now over here is where playing in single player helps. You can also do this if you have a grappling hook. I don't have one yet, so we don't have to worry about that. But this can be a fun way to do things as well. Like that. You too. You have a good night there, Stephen. The last thing we need to do is go ahead and put windows in there and make an entrance to the stables from the outside. Which we can do that right here. Actually, I may want to go ahead and leave that there. modify the design a little bit, it'll be just fine. Now it's the dino gate. I don't think I learned the Structures Plus version. The Structures Plus version of the dino gate works a lot better. Like that. So Structures Plus, once again, is awesome. I will, however, use a standard gate frame. A standard gate, that way it doesn't constantly open. That should be big enough to hold most animals. Starting with Sela. We'll start with her. Well, she's kind of full, so I'll have her follow me. There we go. I believe the item I'm looking for is... Yes. Now these are not the same as the Structures Plus. They're a little bit more fragile. So be careful when you open fire if you have to defend yourself here, because these will break fairly easily. But they match this tier of structure better than the ones for Structures Plus. Open doors and open windows make your house lose insulation. Not that much, but it does. I need to fix that one window right there. It's too transparency is not set correctly. Looks comfy, doesn't it? There's plenty of room for crafting stations. or even other rooms. Making some changes here. It works very well. Okay, now that the house is built, basically you just need to fill it in with all your materials, your crafting stations that you have so far. I'm going to go ahead and use some modified structures in the advanced rafts mod to fill this place up. That's a bed. Just some basics to get things started. Again, just very basic stuff. That was funny. Her head clipped the thing. That was highly amusing for some reason. Now, the only downside using torches to light a place is it gets hot. Sometimes uncomfortably so. I'm going to take some of these torches down. It's getting too hot in here. That's better. Now it's not too hot. Alrighty, let's see what structures we have already made. Mortar and pestle. Start out with some basic stuff like tables. Tables, benches, and chairs. Just to give the house some actual functionality. Right? This is another mod, Eco RP. Eco RP is really good because it has such quality pieces that you can get out of it that are not only nice to look at, but are actually pretty functional. Such as this cooking station, this sink. Not even. That will do. Now we're talking. We'll throw our spark powder in there. The little thing of meat we have. Anything that's of any importance at all goes in there. Good. Again, this stuff's mostly just for looks, but it keeps things looking decent. But as opposed to so bland. I have to keep my things looking decent in terms of making it look alive. Because you'll be spending a lot of time here. These particular mod pieces come from EcoRP Decor. Most of them provide storage spaces. What else do we have in here? Make another box. This will be a small box because in it we're going to put seeds. Go to rename, type in seeds. Keep your materials organized. If you don't, you will regret it later. Right, what do we have next? Again, these are just small mods from advanced drafts. Actually, this may be useful. Providing light without the extra heat. Perfect. All right. I'm going to test these. These are again from advanced rafts. Yep, that works a lot better. Janet Weiss? That's from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's this character's name on this game.
Damn it, Janet!
Random person.
Damn it, Janet! Yep, I'm going to use these chandeliers because they give off light without giving off any of the heat. Heat is bad. At least in the land of ARK. There we go. Now we're not dealing with the problem of the heat that we had before. We had plenty of light at all times. I'll leave those torches there. All right, now the house is lit without burning us up. Let's find out where we're going to put our stations. We know we have our kitchen upstairs. So we need to make our crafting stations downstairs. That would be the ideal situation. First thing to do is craft a smithy. You can put it here in the corner. Save space. Next thing that you want to craft is a refining forge. The refining forge helps you take raw metal and refine it into metal ingots. Runs off thatch, wood, spark powder. Spark powder tends to do a little better though, I've noticed, in terms of yield and speed. Now for when it does get cold, we'll have a fireplace. Let's find out. Let's see, what else do we need? I'm trying to think here. At this point, we need storage. That should be plenty of storage right now. Let's make it organized. Raw materials, things that are not refined. Refined materials, like metal, polymer, electronics. Drugs and medicines. Of course, trophies and artifacts. And this page will be blueprints. For a time that you find blueprints. I'll make another box in here for gear. Make two of them. here. Tools. Another box. Gear. Ammo. And one more box for armors. In this box, we'll make different kibbles. Kibbles are useful for getting animals. They tame a lot faster than default food. Now, since we have an animal in here, I'm going to go ahead and place a feed trough right there. You can mix different kinds of food in it. It will still spoil, and there's no way to really preserve it. But there will be a preserving trough with the tech tier later on. But basically, that will allow any animal that's nearby to feed out of it within a certain range. That way you don't have to worry about your tames starving to death. Seeds. Those will come in handy later when we start farming. All right. That will do for now, in terms of the house. The house will fill up as we get more stations and more stuff. These torches are more or less to keep Trudons away. Trudons don't like light. And since we already know that they're here, there's no sense in taking any chances. fiber in there. Anything that is unrefined. I'm almost done. Okay. Now that we don't need any of this stuff, we can get rid of it. Let's see. We might need to fix some stuff before I put this stuff away. Really, Brad and Janet, really?
No, this is different. But yeah, that is funny.
Damn it, Janet.
Her fucking name is Janet Weiss. I was like, wait a second.
Well, she is fighting creatures of the night. I wonder if she was thrilled, chilled, or fulfilled in any way. Yeah, I couldn't resist. I'm terrible. Make some more arrows. Okay. Because you already know how to make narcotic, let's get making it and make tranquilizer arrows. That should be plenty. All right. Now, I'm going to do raft building on another video because it takes a while. So the next thing I want to do now is show you how to tame a carnivore. It's basically the same thing as taming a herbivore, only you use meat instead of plants. I saw some raptors down there on the beach, so I'm going to go down the beach and see if we can pick up a raptor or two. They're good mounts, and they're also like great guard dogs. They work best in a pack. And like a herbivore, when you're on them, or they kill something for you, they gather the meat and the hide and the chitin and the keratin for you automatically. For raptors, the first thing you want to do is immobilize them. Otherwise, they'll pin you against a wall or they'll pin you up and they'll just tear you apart. So, I'm going to go into first person for this so I can see the aim a little better. There was a raptor down here. There's a Dilophosaurus down there. Those are actually, they're decent, but they're not really that good of a combat mount. It almost spat at me. That would be bad. Oh, that gives us the meat we need. Swap back to our trank arrows. keep looking. There's got to be a raptor around here somewhere. Oh, no, thank you. Those are Trudons. You don't fool around with those. So you gotta watch your step. So I almost made a fatal mistake. That's a Trudon. I almost walked right into it and didn't even see it because it was hiding in the rocks. Alright, well, we got meat. We have the drugs. Now we just need the cooperative raptor. Or maybe a trike. Because I remember that we were going to get a trike. Or perhaps a different kind of carnivore. This will do for our taming because it is a carnivore. And it'll be good to have a flying mount. Let's make sure we have all the required materials to make the saddle. Hide, fiber, and chitin or keratin. We don't have that, so we'll probably have to kill a turtle at some point. I'm pretty sure that thing's going to be unconscious for a while. This is disconcerting. There should be more animals down here. Makes me think a big carnivore's been through here and won a buffet. Turn this place into one big smorgasbord. Oh, there's some metal. That'll come in handy for later. That's a Trapajara up there, harmless. Not exactly the best flyer, but... Looks like we're getting to the edge of the swamplands. Afternoon is coming, it sounds like. Let's head up into the jungles. Maybe we'll find something there. The Trapajara can be ridden by at least 3 people. It's very skittish. So walking up to it will scare it off. It also has the ability to cling to almost any surface. Right, there's some herbivores. So where there are herbivores, there are usually carnivores. Go ahead and maybe tame one of these, or take out one of these parasaurs for more meat. There's a raptor. He'll probably see us any minute now. When he charges, there's... Here he comes. Got him. We want to knock him out as quickly as we can. Because the bowler will not hold indefinitely. Got it. Watch out, because he'll probably have pack mates nearby. That's convenient. Look what we found. That's why he was here. A raptor nest. We'll take those. There's a bug. Bug's gonna be great for kiting. Swat it. Been poisoned. There was one more. Don't want that to be running around. It's like 8 raptors right there. We'll go ahead and just leave him unnamed. See if we have the materials to make a raptor saddle. We don't. We need fiber and wood. Let's go get that right now. There it is. One raptor saddle. It's a male, so we'll give him a new name. There's a Meganura. Dragonfly on a wingspan of at least 6 feet. And since he's having problems carrying me, let's give him some experience so we can increase his weight. Also increase the damage, his speed, stamina, health. That way he'll be a decent battle mount. Right then, let's go ahead and go back and check on our Pteranodon. As you can see, they can run and they can jump. They have a primary attack. There's a mod out there called Raptor Pack, but unfortunately it's broken. That allows you to jump on and latch onto enemy dinosaurs, but unfortunately it's broken. Hopefully they fix it soon. Good, he tamed, and we got some eggs, looks like. have enough stuff now to make the saddle. No. We need fiber and hide. Let's go ahead and get some of that. There it is. There's the Pteranodon saddle. I'm going to give this guy some weight. He can actually fly underneath. Go. Might do it twice because these guys have terrible stamina. There we go. That's a good start. Alright, let's get everybody home now. I bet the raptor got stuck down here somewhere. Yeah, he tried to come up over here. Got stuck. That can happen sometimes. Pathfinding on these guys is not the best. But, case in point, once you have a target, like say a carnivore, look at a target, whistle attack target. And they'll gather the meat for you. It'll be in their inventory. Carnivores can be just as handy as herbivores. Alright then, there you have it. We covered everything that we were going to cover. Advanced building, stone, carnivore tames, flyer tames, basic house setup, crafting stations. The only thing we haven't covered yet is raft building, and I'll cover that the next time because that's pretty much a video in and of itself. And with that being said, we'll talk to y'all later.